The most impactful decision you will ever make is not the job you choose, the money you earn, the city you live in, or the people around you. It is the decision of who you decide to become when life challenges you the most. Tony Robbins teaches that life is shaped not by conditions, but by decisions. And the moment you truly understand this, your entire perspective changes. Most people wait for motivation, confidence, or clarity before taking action, but successful individuals decide first and allow their actions to create clarity, momentum, and belief. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are making decisions that either move your life forward or keep you stuck. The difference between a life of regret and a life of fulfillment comes down to one thing: the standards you set for yourself and the decisions you make when it would be easier to quit. At some point in life, everyone faces pain, uncertainty, rejection, and fear. These moments are unavoidable. What is avoidable is allowing those moments to define you. The most impactful decision you will ever make is deciding that your past does not control your future. Many people stay trapped not because they lack ability, but because they keep replaying old stories about who they are and what they deserve. Tony Robbins often says that your identity shapes your destiny. If you decide you are weak, unlucky, or limited, your actions will unconsciously prove that belief correct. But if you decide that you are someone who grows through pain, who learns from failure, and who refuses to settle for average, your entire life trajectory changes. The power of decision is so strong because every emotion you feel is connected to a decision you've made about what something means. Fear is not real danger. It is a decision to focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is a decision to trust yourself even when results are not guaranteed. Discipline is not punishment. It is a decision to value your future more than your temporary comfort. When you understand this, you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them through action. One of the most damaging habits people have is negotiating with their excuses. They tell themselves they will start tomorrow, next week, or when life becomes easier. But life never becomes easier. You become stronger. The most impactful decision you can make is deciding that excuses no longer have power over you. Tony Robbins emphasizes that success leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is that successful people decide in advance how they will respond to challenges. They do not let emotions control their behavior. They let commitment guide their actions. When you decide that quitting is no longer an option, your brain starts finding solutions instead of escape routes. Every breakthrough in life begins with a moment of decision. The decision to change your habits, the decision to take responsibility, the decision to stop blaming others, the decision to raise your standards. Raising your standards means deciding that certain behaviors, thoughts, and outcomes are no longer acceptable. It means deciding that procrastination, laziness, self-doubt, and fear will no longer run your life. This decision may feel uncomfortable at first because growth always does, but discomfort is the price of transformation, and comfort is the price of regret. Tony Robbins teaches that most people major in minor things and minor in major things. They focus on entertainment, distractions, and short-term pleasure while neglecting the decisions that shape their future. The most impactful decision you will ever make is deciding what you will focus on consistently. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on problems, you feel powerless. If you focus on solutions, you feel empowered. If you focus on what you lack, you feel stuck. If you focus on growth, you feel alive. This decision alone can change your emotional state, productivity, and overall quality of life. There will be moments when motivation disappears. That is guaranteed. Motivation is temporary, but decision is permanent. Successful people do not rely on motivation. They rely on commitment. The most impactful decision you can make is deciding to act even when you don't feel like it. especially when you don't feel like it, because those moments are where discipline is built, character is formed, and confidence is earned. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect grows. Every time you break one, it weakens. Over time, these decisions compound and shape your identity. Another life-changing decision is deciding to control your inner dialogue. Tony Robbins says that the quality of your life is the quality of your questions. If you constantly ask, "Why is this happening to me?" you will feel powerless. But if you decide to ask, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can this make me stronger?" you shift from victim to creator. This decision transforms pain into purpose and obstacles into opportunities. Life does not happen to you, it happens for you, if you decide to see it that way. The most impactful decision you will ever make is deciding to commit fully instead of trying halfway. Half-hearted effort produces half-hearted results. When you decide to give everything you have, even when success is uncertain, something powerful happens. You unlock a level of energy and focus that average effort can never reach. Commitment eliminates hesitation. It removes the option to quit. And when quitting is no longer an option, persistence becomes inevitable. Many people fear failure, but failure is not the enemy. Regret is. The decision to avoid failure often leads to a life of playing small. Tony Robbins teaches that failure is feedback. It is information, not identity. The most impactful decision you can make is deciding to use failure as a teacher rather than a reason to stop. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have tried. The difference is not talent, it is decision. At the core of all success is the decision to take ownership of your life. No one is coming to save you. No one will magically fix your problems. This realization can feel heavy, but it is also incredibly empowering. Because once you decide that this is your life and you choose to make it extraordinary, everything begins to shift. Responsibility is not blame, it is power. The moment you decide, "This is my life and I choose to make it extraordinary," everything begins to shift. The most impactful decision you will ever make is deciding what kind of pain you are willing to endure. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? The pain of growth or the pain of staying the same? Pain is unavoidable, but the type of pain you experience is a decision. Short-term discomfort leads to long-term freedom. Short-term comfort leads to long-term suffering. This decision, made daily, determines the direction of your life. Ultimately, the most impactful decision is deciding who you are becoming. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect, but now. Identity drives behavior. When you decide that you are someone who shows up, who follows through, who grows relentlessly, your actions naturally align with that identity. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for approval. You stop doubting your worth. You move with certainty because your decisions are rooted in purpose, not fear. One decision can change everything. Decide to raise your standards. Decide to commit. Decide to take control. Decide to grow. Decide to become the person your future requires. That decision, made with clarity and backed by action, is the most impactful decision you will ever make.